Lightsabers are the traditional weapon of choice for the Jedi. They usually come in two colours, blue and green. Yes, the Sith have red blades, Temple Guards have yellow sabers, and Mace Windu had a purple one, but blue and green are the default colours. But what about AHSOKA Tano, who ends up wielding two lightsabers with pure white blades? How did our favourite Togrutan Jedi end up carrying such uniquely coloured weapons? Well, let's find out. When AHSOKA first became Anakin Skywalker's Padawan apprentice, she was using two green lightsabers. One was a normal length saber, while the other had a shorter Shoto blade. She was proficient at using them, utilising an uncommon reverse grip with the blades pointing downwards. She used these lightsabers throughout the bulk of the Clone Wars, until she was accused of bombing a Jedi temple hangar. Despite her being exonerated, the Council had not believed her to be innocent, so she walked away from the Order, giving her lightsabers to Anakin as a symbol of her leaving that part of her life behind. However, several months later, AHSOKA returned to the Grand Army of the Republic to help out with the siege of Mandalore that was currently under the rule of former Sith Lord Maul. Anakin surprised AHSOKA by returning her lightsabers to her, but with a little tweak, he'd turned the blades from green to blue. After a successful campaign on Mandalore, where the planet was freed and Maul was captured, AHSOKA finally headed back to Coruscant. Unfortunately, this is when Order 66 was declared. Without any warning, clone troopers across the galaxy turned on their Jedi commanders and practically wiped out the entire Order in one swift purge. AHSOKA barely escaped death herself, but in order to fake her death to the newly formed Galaxy Empire, she had to abandon her lightsabers once and for all. These hilts were later recovered by Darth Vader as his forces searched for any remaining Jedi. By the way, we would highly recommend you check out the Siege of Mandalore arc of the Clone Wars in Season 7, Episodes 9, 10, 11 and 12. It's a great edge-of-your-seat kind of story that really does flesh out AHSOKA as a light side Force user that has left the Jedi Order. In fact, we'd go so far as saying it's some of the best Star Wars content out there. So anyway, there you have the tale of AHSOKA's old green-blue lightsabers, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to find out how she ended up with the white blades. Well, AHSOKA's went into hiding immediately following Order 66. She laid low on various planets, however Inquisitors, Force-sensitive Jedi hunters, were hot on her trail. They tracked her movements through rumours and whispers, employing the use of local spies who would report back to them. Once a Jedi was discovered, they would be ambushed and annihilated. So when AHSOKA found herself on the backwater world of Rada, it wasn't long before the sixth brother Inquisitor was sniffing around, trying to pin down the exact location of this rumoured Jedi. Little did he know that the Jedi he was hunting was the apprentice of Anakin Skywalker, his master that now went by the name of Darth Vader. AHSOKA was ready to move on to another planet and go into hiding again. However, when the Empire started to have a presence on the Rada, and they started terrorizing and even killing the locals, she had to make a stand. Unfortunately, AHSOKA was still weaponless. She had not had any lightsabers since abandoning them after Order 66. She had collected bits of scrap metal that would make nice hilts, but she had no kyber crystals, the special crystals that power the bladed weapons. Strangely though, she heard the lightsaber crystals contained within the Inquisitor's lightsabers sing to her. This was very unusual. When creating their lightsabers, Jedi younglings usually had to go on a mission to a planet, such as Lume, where kyber crystals naturally occurred. They would then enter a cave and they would meditate or go through some kind of trial until their crystals sang to them, indicating a kind of connection through the Force. To check out this mystical process, go watch the Clone Wars Season 5, Episode 6, The Gathering. However, for AHSOKA to have had not one, but two kyber crystals call out to her was unusual, but not unheard of. However, to now have two different sets of crystals calling to her was unheard of. An astonished AHSOKA had clearly found the power source for her new blades, but she needed to acquire them. And when they're locked away inside the spinning double-bladed lightsaber of an Inquisitor, that's easier said than done. She needed to come up with a plan, which of course she did. AHSOKA finally revealed herself to the sixth brother Inquisitor, engaging in a fierce battle. While she had to rely on hand-to-hand combat, combined with acrobatics, she was on a relatively even footing with the Inquisitor, who was in possession of a double-bladed lightsaber. Just before the sixth brother Inquisitor could make a final charge at the Jedi, she put her plan into action and used the Force to rip the two kyber crystals from his lightsaber. They sung through the air and landed in her hand, instantly connecting with their new owner. They obviously belonged with AHSOKA. The Inquisitor, unsure what his prey had just done to his weapon, tried to power up his lightsaber, but it violently exploded in his hands, instantly killing him. This victory not only killed an Inquisitor, but it also put a big roadblock in the way of the Empire's occupation of Rada. AHSOKA then took her newly acquired crystals and purified them, using the Force. Now, to understand what purifying is, you have to understand what bleeding a kyber crystal is. When Sith Lords and other dark side users bleed a kyber crystal, they take a regular crystal that would normally produce a green or blue blade. They then pour all of their hate and malice into it until it is corrupted, breaks, and turns that distinctive evil shade of crimson. To purify a crystal is to reverse this process and heal it. This generally results in a pure white blade. Once the process was complete, AHSOKA inserted them into the hilts that she had constructed using scrap metal. She had to spend time modifying the shape and internal workings in order for it to accommodate the kyber crystals, but eventually she inserted them and her lightsabers were complete. With a few more simple modifications, they weren't too far off the lightsabers she had used as a Padawan, right up to the end of the Clone Wars. Once again, she went with a full-length lightsaber and a shorter shotter lightsaber. Both looked stunning when held in her traditional reverse grip and served her extremely well for the rest of her life. She was very fond of the white coloration of her new lightsabers, feeling like they represented her allegiance. She was no Sith, but she was also no Jedi.
I am no Jedi.
She was something in between, a true neutral, and her white blades reflected that allegiance to the Force. She went on to use these white-bladed lightsabers throughout the rise of the Empire, battling various enemies with them, including the 5th and 8th brother and 7th sister Inquisitors, Maul, and even her former master, Darth Vader himself. These confrontations can be seen in Star Wars Rebels, specifically Season 2, Episodes 21 and 22, Twilight of the Apprentice. She was still in possession of the blades right through the Galactic Civil War and the downfall of the Empire, and AHSOKA and her white blades most recently featured in The Mandalorian, Season 2, Episode 3, The Jedi. In the episode, she is on the planet Corvus, protecting a city under the strict and violent dictatorship of the magistrate Morgan Elspeth. AHSOKA and the magistrate duel, AHSOKA using her lightsabers and the magistrate using a spear of pure Beskar, the Mandalorian metal that is resistant to lightsabers. While AHSOKA won the duel, she did lose one of her lightsabers in the ponds surrounding the area where they were fighting. It's easy enough to retrieve, but it does go to show how skilled the magistrate was at melee combat, as not even Maul or Darth Vader disarmed her like that. So what's next for AHSOKA? Well, with the AHSOKA TV series heading to Disney Plus sometime in 2023, we are undoubtedly going to be seeing those now iconic white lightsaber blades again. And that's how AHSOKA ended up with her pure white lightsabers. So now it's over to you. Do you love the pure white bladed lightsabers? Or are you a fan of the other colours? Be sure to let us know in the comments section down below. We love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Thanks for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.